Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Wadilo na Vishesh Vichaar, brought to you by the Africa Fashion Archive section. In this series, we honor and capture stories and wisdom of our elders of the community, ensuring to store their legacy for the future generations. Today, we are in Arusha, a very cool, peaceful town, and today I'm joined with a very special guest, Alhaj Somji, famously known as Bapu. We will be discussing more about his life, his achievements, and everything that he has to tell us. Although, let me just give you a caution, it's not probably going to be enough for us to discuss his 90-year-old journey, but we will try our best, inshallah, and I hope you enjoy. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. I can speak in English and I can also speak in Gujarati, I suppose.
Yes.
I'm honored that after they sent somebody to come and interview me. I have had a long journey. 90 years is a long time.
Indeed.
I was born in Danga on the 26th of May, 1935. And it was a Sunday, and if you ask me how did you find out, I'm also smart enough to go to IA and say what was the day. So Sunday was the day everybody goes for sports. Anyway, to let you know that later on, not long, the Second World War started on the 1st of September 1939, and it did not end till 1945. But let me take you back to my roots.
Sure.
My grandfather, Kasam Somji, as I am told, was shipwrecked somewhere in the coast of Mombasa.
Okay.
And, or dowwrecked rather. And he was found floating at Malindi. And from his attire, I was told, because there were already Khojas in Lamu, they took him to Lamu.
Okay.
And that's where he was. His name was Kasam Somji. He had 9 children. The first one was Muhammad Kasam Somji. And Muhammad Kasam Somji's children and grandchildren and others. You probably know Masam Somji in Dubai. He's one from that family.
Okay.
The second in line was Ghulam Ali Somji. And Ghulam Ali Somji came out and he became a postmaster and he worked for the government.
This is in Lamu or?
No, he must have gone, but how he came to Tanganyika, I do not know.
Okay.
Then came my father, Habib Kasam Somji. And Habib Kasam Somji came to Tanga. And he came with Kasam Somji. And after 3 months, on January 1935, he passed on. And I was born 3 months later. 5 months later. He was 68 when he passed on. Then after that, let me tell you, there were 5 males and 4 females.
Okay.
I have gone to the 3rd male, that's my father. But then from my father, there was a lady there called Rukia Bai. There are other 3 girls, but I'm talking of Rukia Bai is because it's relevant here. Relevant in a way that you probably know that Zohran, who is now aspiring to become the mayor in New York.
Zohran Mamdani?
Correct.
Okay.
And that Rukia Bai, my father's sister, is the great-grandmother of Zohran. And that grandmother, the grand-dadima of Zohran, is Kulsum Bai, who is my first cousin. And Kulsum Bai's husband's name was Yusuf. and he died in 2014, and I had met him already in 2014, a very erect man. He died at the age of 86. He is buried in Kampala. And on his headstone it says, and I love this, life is for living, and translated into Gujarati also. So, I've done that, and then came Musa Kasum Somji. They don't use Somji anymore, they use Kasum. And you probably know Musti. Musti is a great philanthropist. He gives a lot of money. He even has scholarships for those who want to study in East Africa. Scholarships, it's a grant. And the last, and not the least, is Hussein Kasum Somji. And that man had a heart of gold. Absolutely, he would have lots of visitors. And there's only one from that Somji now available, and he's in Arusha. And his name is Shiraz Somji. You know Shiraz? Shiraz Somji is here. So that is my family done. But then comes my education.
Sorry, Amir Uncle, before you go there. So, Kasam Somji, you said he came from India to direct, yeah, they took him to Lamu. Did he come with his family?
No, he was a young man.
Okay.
And then he went back to India.
Okay.
And then he got married, and he came back.
Okay.
And let me also tell you, his first wife passed on, so he married a second wife.
Okay.
And they had totally nine children.
Right. And then from there you said your father came to Tanga. Right. Okay.
And I come from a very humble beginning. And humble it is because you only realize later on how much they have love for their children when they go away. However, I went to Barpoti, that was the time, and then we went to a primary school, Indian primary school, and I still remember, I think the building is still there, and because of the war they used to have bunkers, and we were practicing to get into the bunker when something went wrong. Not that the war ever came to Tanganyika, but time passed, and then it was 8 years in primary and 4 years in secondary. Amir Somji was a very naughty boy, and Amir Somji would not work. So I failed in standard 8, and I told my father, thank you very much, let me go and work somewhere because I can get to work. He said, no, you go again. I said, but everybody will be 1 year younger than me. So he said, so what? And I failed again. And I told my father, I said, I can't go anymore. I'm going to work somewhere. He says, no, you will one day remember that I did not give you an opportunity and you'll probably blame me. I don't want you to blame me. And he said, I'll keep a tutor for you. Not that he could afford, but he said, I'll keep a tutor. And he kept a tutor. And from that day, I have never looked behind. I went to my standard 10, then I went to a college in the institute in Mombasa for 4 years. I shouldn't be blowing my own trumpet, but there were 36 boys who sat for an exam for City and Guilds of London Institute in electrical engineering, and 3 got through. 2 in second class and 1 in first class, and I was in first class. So I not that I was lazy working, but that taught me a lesson. And I came back, and people were so humble in those days. As soon as I came back, he says, Amir, do you need a job? I said, I've just come today. Okay, he said, when you need a job, just come to me. I got a job. I worked for railways. Then life went on. I worked for TANESCO. Life went on.
How long did you work for railways?
Well, that was I did my apprenticeship. In olden days,
okay.
there was apprenticeship, which you now probably call internship.
Okay.
And you get paid, but little money. It doesn't bother. So I worked for them, and then I joined TANESCO, and I worked in Tanga, and I went in Korogwe. Just before I went to Korogwe, I got married in 1963 with a person whom I loved and waited. But let me tell you, if you ask me who my role model really is my father. Because without him, I would have probably not gone to where I was supposed to. And then I traveled, because I went to Korogwe. From Korogwe, I went to Bea, where there were only nurses, were 3 of us.
While you're working for TANESCO?
Yes, my wife and I. And then I came to Arusha. They transferred me to Arusha. I said, no, I don't want to go to Arusha. She said, why? I said, I don't want to go. Send me back to Tanga, where I came from. I won't tell you the reason why I didn't want to come here. And I won't tell you. Then they said, no, you go, we need you there. So I said, is there any money? He said, of course. There's an increment of 200 shillings per month. 200 shillings was good. So I came to Arusha. After 7 years, I was the regional manager here. And I was told, you now go to Manza. And my son was going to the school at Arusha School. And that was probably the best school ever in the whole of Tanganyika. So I said, no, my welfare of my family comes first, so I will not go. I will resign, and I resigned.
What year was this when you came to Arusha?
68.
Okay, and then this year you resigned?
75.
Okay. So 1968 you moved to Arusha, you worked, and then slowly you became the regional manager, and then you had to step down.
I resigned because of my son's education. Because education is very important for our children. However, as time went on, I got a job I went to a company here, an Italian company, which was building the East African community. I said, I need a job. He said, but you have a job in TANESCO. I said, I've resigned. So I said, okay, I want a job now. It's okay, 99% yes, 1% we'll have to ask Rome. I said, go ahead and ask Rome while I go on leave. So I went away to Nairobi. I came back. There's no house. There is nothing for me. I came back and the job was ready for me. So how much do you want? I said, the one condition is that you pay my son's fees. And now he's going to go to international school. You pay the fees, pay me the salary, get me the house. They did everything for me. And I worked for them. And then I worked for the East African community for a couple of months before that collapsed. And I worked for Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a Director of Technical Service at AICC. And I retired at the age of 57. At that time, the retiring age was 55. If you come to 55, you retire.
Okay.
But they told me, we need you, so can you take 2 more years? I said, yes, I will take 2 more years. But in the meantime, my Rotary demand came up because I became a district governor. And I could have not done justice to both my work and to Rotary if I did not. So I resigned and I asked my son, will you look after me? He says, no problem. My son and I. And he looked after us.
How many children do you have, Amir Uncle?
I have 1 child only, not that we didn't want any.
Okay.
She was pregnant after 10 years, after Mahmoud, but she passed on. But I'm lucky I have 1, some don't even have. And I pray for them all the time that they have children. But that son of mine, Mahmoud, has brought me 3 more children and a wife, a family. And all have gone to the college and university and all have masters and they've all finished. They've all climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I have a family where our sports is very important for us. Let me take you back to when I went to AFET. It was the year 1974. When there was a council meeting or conference meeting, I do not remember, but I was the chairman of the Jamaat.
Okay. This is 1974. Chairman of Arusha Jamaat. Yes.
I had to welcome everybody, including Muraskar was then the chairperson. Don't you admire my memory? Come on.
It is definitely very distinguishing. You are not only telling us about your moments, but even the dates, the person.
So anyway, coming from there, so when you count from 1974, now it's 2025, it's 50 years. That's a long time. And in that family of ours, I was a sportsman of the year in 1970. My son was sportsman of the year in 1988. My granddaughter was sportsperson of the year 2014. And my grandson, Ali Abbas, was the sportsman of the year in 2018. So it's a family which does the sports.
Very athletic.
And life for living, my dear friends. Hey, what else do you want to know?
So let's go back to your community service and then we'll speak about your time in Rotary, which I believe is very important to you. So how did you start off within the community? You mentioned that you were chairman of the Jamaat in 73,
Yes,
74.
chairman of the Jamaat, and then I went on and I was chairman of the Jaffrey Academy for 4 years and exactly 11 months. And I will know there are only positive vibes in my mind, my dear friend. I have no negative vibes.
You also served as the chairman of the Sports Council of the Africa
2001.
1 to 4 and reappointed again to...
Yes, and I was for 6 years. Okay. And so happens that my son was for 8 years, same position. But I've enjoyed every part of it.
If I can ask you to give us maybe 3 most memorable moments or achievements during your time in the community as serving these different positions, what would be those memorable moments for you? Or the most significant achievement that you hold dear to?
Look, my dear friend, Ali Abbas, let me tell you, I had dreamed too. And my dream was that Al-Mahdi building standing there, that I wanted it finished. It was nobody's fault. Everybody had tried to put it right, but circumstances were also not right. And I prayed, and every time I went to the council meeting or a conference, I stood up and said, please, bring my dream to fruition. I want this big building completed. And when it's completed, I will be ready to pass on. And only this year, this was completed. So my dream is done. And that was a moment of pride for me. Absolute pride. Now you want to know probably about Africa Federation, how it's doing.
Yes. Before that, Amir Uncle, if I can just share for the viewers, the most recent Supreme Council that was held in Mombasa, our chairman Amin Bhai mentioned that you are always present in the Supreme Councils with a lot of wisdom and guidance for the members who are present. And I think it's a very important question for us to know as viewers, as future leaders, as past leaders, as current leaders. In all these Supreme Councils that you've been attending, what is the difference? What direction are we going into? Is there anything that we need to change?
Look, I will tell you this. If by telling the truth I lose a friend, so be it. I will speak the truth. Let me tell you, at the moment, we are more than just a Africa Federation. This is becoming a corporate now, because you're talking big. You're talking of millions and millions and millions of shillings. It is high time that we finished the review, because some change has got to come to. But at the moment, we are at the pinnacle. At the way we are building, the way we are doing things. You'll probably ask me. I told you my moment when this was done. But there needs some changes. Africa Federation. You tell me, there in Mombasa there were 150 people. And 150 people stood up and introduced themselves. What does it matter if you don't introduce yourself? That would be about 1 hour, easy. So this 1 hour is gone. We never finish meetings on time. Okay, there are people like me, I get tired, I just go away, I should tell them, I'm going. But when you keep them for too long there, the next day they come late. There are some who are very punctual. But you can't do it, you can't run a meeting up to 2 o'clock in the morning. Change has got to be done. And change can only be done when people just don't interfere when they are not supposed to interfere.
You've indicated that we need to change how things go about. You are a very, maybe enthusiast when it comes to constitution, and our chairman relies on you for constitutional advice at all the time. Is there anything that we can change within the processes of the meeting to make it more productive? So you've mentioned about, punctuality and all those things, but with the way things are running, is there any comments that you'd like to give?
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
There were so many points of order. And when in Mombasa they said, all your hotel bills are paid. Nobody stood up and said, points of order that you didn't ask us whether you wanted to pay. No. Points of order are unnecessary sometimes. But who am I to judge us now? But I am advising them, keep to time. We have meetings of Rotary and we have 850 to 900 people and we work to time. You come late, you stay out. You don't live. You talk too much, we cut you off. But I would love to give you some time for my Rotary life, because I have taken it as very important for my life.
Sure, we can discuss. I'm all ears.
I joined Rotary in 1971. I joined here in Arusha. And I have now finished 54 years on the 11th of August 2025 and counting. I could have asked for permission of that I don't go to the club. I still remain a member, but I haven't asked for the last 33 years because I like joining there. It's like a family to me. More so since my wife has passed on, that I have some people there who are very passionate. I was the first ever Khoja district governor in the world was Abdul Rasul Raka. He's from Zanzibar originally, then he went to Nairobi, And he passed on. That was in 1988, 89. He was the district governor. At that time, the district consisted of some 6 or 12 countries. I became a district governor. I was the second Khoja district governor. I don't know how many there are at the moment, but this was 30 years back. I was the governor in 93, 94, and I was the governor where my district was. Botswana, Mayotte, Zambia, Madagascar. One more country. It's an island in Comoros and Tanzania. And you are obliged to travel with your wife. And everything is paid. Your hotel is paid, your travel is paid.
And what does your role entail as a district governor?
My role is to go there and inspire them.
Okay.
And if they have any problem, you try and solve it for them.
Okay.
Like there was a problem in a club in Saranana, which is right on the north top, where they have vanilla as their main crop. And there were Ishnashis there. And when I went there, there was an Ishnashi president. But I was told that they could not remit the money. They had the Malagasy money, but the bank would not allow. So I said, take me to the bank. I went to the bank and I talked to the governor there. I said, listen, these people are doing a very good job. They are providing glasses and they are providing help to people. So why don't you let them pay their dues? So they allowed them to pay their dues. But that is what I do. And there were 43 clubs, and I go and visit 43 clubs. And it's not easy because I never realized that to go to Mayotte, I need a visa because it's French. I didn't know that. But my wife was my great pillar because she traveled with you and 4.5 months away from home. Just when Mom was recently married. But I had a shocking moment once in Madagascar. A fearful, shocking moment. My wife had gone back earlier because it was starting of Muharram to prepare here for the children. I went to the bank early. In the hotel that I got down, there was a hotel just there. I went there and I presented a $50 note. And for a $50 note, you get a lot of Malagasy francs. And the lady took the note because they work on francs and not dollars. So she went inside and she came out with another lady and looked at me. And they both went inside. And they came back, sent a man then. He said, sir, the note that you gave us is fake. And my heart missed a beat. Because you're talking now of 1993, 94. If it happened in Tanzania, I would be in problem. So I said, what is wrong with it? He said, here it is. It says, every note says, in God we trust. This one doesn't say. So I said, can I give you another one? He says, no problem. So I gave another one and I got out of it. But I had collected that money from the bank here. Because those days, dollar accounts were not allowed, but because of circumstances that my money was coming from America, I was allowed to do that. I went, $50 was a lot of money in 93, 94. I asked my friend, I said, what do I do? He says, go ahead and go to the bank. And I went to the bank. And I said, do you remember I collected the money? He said, yes, because you'd write notes and everything. I said, but this note doesn't say. Oh, he said, don't worry. He gave me another one. I went away and I was happy. Later on, 2 years later, the new governor who came was a banker. And I told him this story. And I said, this is what happened to me. He said, you lost out. That note would be worth over $2,000. But that was a shocking moment. But I've enjoyed my time.
Bapu, we can go on and on and on and on. As I said in the beginning, it's not going to be enough. Yeah, you have had a 90 years long journey. So an interview of 30 to 40 minutes is probably not going to do justice. If you allow me, I can share with our viewers. When we were conceptualizing these interview series, and it was in the planning stages, Bapu was in Dar es Salaam. So I walked to him, introduced myself, and I asked him if he would be interested and if he can give us some time so that we can interview him. He gave me a very unique answer that I will never forget. He told me, I will do it once I am 90 years old, after I celebrate my 90th birthday. That is when I will do the interview. And like I said, the last Supreme Council that we had in Mombasa, we had a small celebration. And this interview is not going to be complete, Bapu, if I don't ask what is the secret. May Allah give you a healthier life, inshallah. May He always keep you healthy and happy. But for the interest of the viewers, what is your secret?
Disciplined life. And very disciplined life. People would not call me after 9 o'clock because I would be sleeping already. They would have to wait. I eat what is necessary. I love food. To tell you, I fasted for 40 years every Thursday. 40 years is a long time. And I fasted till I started fasting at the age of 13. And I fasted till the age of 85 when I fell sick, when my children told me, enough is enough. Don't fast. And if it hurts your health, even God doesn't allow you to fast. So it's a very disciplined life. Sleep well. Take your time. Get on your comfort zone. Wherever your comfort zone is there, you stay there. As my wife used to say, and I quote her, don't just sit in a box. Get out of the box. And when you get out of the box, you're not leaving loose ends, because when you feel like that you are not comfortable where you are, get into your box. But if you don't live with people and know the people, know their customs, how will you ever know what they are doing and what we are doing? I agree that I'm proud to be a Khoja, Shia internationally, very proud, extremely proud. My allegiance to my Jamaat is first, this Jamaat, and my next allegiance is to Afid. And if you live like that, you eat well, you exercise yourself, you look after your health. This body is not given to me except by Allah. And one day He'll take it away. No one is immortal. Look at this Jamaat, what they've done for me. My wife is buried in a grave with a number 319. They have left some space for me. 320 is empty, then 321 is occupied, and 322 is occupied. I had asked them that I would love to be buried next to my wife. I visit my wife twice a week, on Thursdays and on Sundays. In the very early days, I used to go and cry there. Then my cousin from Dar es Salaam, Leila Bai, the mother of Mumtaz Ladak, met me here and he said, don't do that because you're hurting her now. He says, go there and talk to her. Be cheerful. And let me advise the youngsters and the elders and the seniors. Don't waste your life. You got to look after yourself. I have in the morning my schedule that I don't miss. I pray, then I do my exercise. And you as a doctor, you would know that all the blood comes from here. These are our roots. So you've got to strengthen them. Either you walk or you exercise and make them. So I do my exercise, I finish that, and when I finish, I'm very selfish too. When I look up to God and say, God, like last night after my Isha Namaz, I said, God, today is the wafat of our Payghambar. And I'm asking you, please let me and my family be as healthy as today for the next same occasion. Khuda must be saying, smart, crafty man, they can't give asked for the whole year. But who else would you ask than him? If you don't knock the door does. If you don't knock it, the door does not open. And what else do you say to your God? I love you. And I'm sure he must be saying in return, I love you too. My friend, I have great faith. I am righteous. I have my faith. But, as I told you before, if somebody doesn't like the truth, I'm sorry, but I'd rather lose him than have him. And as advice for our children, have discipline. You can't come to the mosque and throw your shoes where you want. You can't throw litter outside.
These things matter. They might be petty and small, but they matter. They do matter.
But that comes from the upbringing, because you would not do it in your house. Why should you do it at God's house? And for the last thing, there are some things which are very important for lifetime for the seniors. There are 3 things that you can eat. Beetroot, very healthy.
Very good for iron.
Then there is mug. You know mug? Lentil. And they say in Gujarati, mug chalave pag. And there is miti vyaji. Vyajitamu, and it's in abundance. Use it. And there are so many fruits. Shall I end? And I end. You did not ask me about why they call me Bapu.
Oh yes, that's the most important question. I think we should have started with that.
In olden times, I was short-sighted, so I was wearing glasses. And my glasses were exactly like Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was always called Bapu. And my ears are like Gandhi. My moustache is like Gandhi. And they started calling me Bapu. But then later on, because I did not need the glasses, they went off. If you look at my Facebook, which I hardly use, you'll see my picture and you would think that is Gandhi and not me. That is why. And I don't mind, because it's a very respectable word. Bapu comes with a lot of passion. Do I end with my last advice?
Yes, please. Yes.
There is a Chinese proverb which says, and I say it slowly, if you want happiness for an hour, have a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. Because you're all alone. And when you catch a fish, you have satisfaction. If you want happiness for a year, pray that you get some inheritance. But if you want happiness for life, help somebody. That should be the motto. And Quran keeps on saying this all the time. Help, help. And we have such a Khoja community which really helps. There are people who give you money. Give money for those less fortunate. And that's what I do in Rotary for the last 54 years, and I hope counting. I would like to thank you, Ambassador, to come here, to come and interview. I thank you, all the team who are doing this, and may you be blessed, inshallah. Let me tell you one, Ambassador. After 4 years and 9 months, if you come here again and interview me, when I'll be 95, I will tell you my whole life story.
Inshallah. Inshallah. This is another promise, but this is in front of the public. So there is no going out from that, inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you, Bapu. It's actually an honor for me to be here. Thank you for honoring your promise that you made. And I feel also lucky, and I really, really wish that you could keep on going. But we are limited by time.
Of course.
But I look forward to the other interview.
Why not?
Yeah,
and make sure these people are there also, so they know.
Bapu, thank you very much for the interview. This is a very, very small token of appreciation from the Africa Federation Archive section.
Thank you.
Yeah, a very small token, and we've also included a copy of the recent publication of the archive section, The Legacy of the Federation, that is history about the Federation itself and the Jamaats, and the Khoja history as well. So I hope you have a good time reading it and sharing it with your fellow colleagues as well.
Thank you very much.
I hope you all enjoyed the episode today. We look forward to more. As I said, it was difficult to cover a 90-year-old journey in 30 to 40 minutes, but we did our best. And inshallah, we look forward to more episodes. Ahsan.